Hello and welcome to our Davos journey. Over the course of the 43rd annual conference of the World Economic Forum here in Davos, global economies might be in pause mode like the train behind me. But the question here is, can we take it forward, move along with the theme this year, which has been resilient dynamism? Davos 2013 has one theme, and that is a life of crisis. We are honestly pre-slope as the global recovery continues to stutter, but Martin Wolf puts it well when he says this Davos will be remembered as a sigh of relief.
This is the sigh of relief Davos. And what I mean by that is that for 6 years, since the beginning of 2008, so 5 years, six Davos meetings, we've been dominated by crisis. Everything has been what's going to fall over next week, what bank, what country, what's going to happen. This is the first one since 2007 when nobody expects an imminent financial crisis anyway.
The global economy is finally seeing some altitude, much like I am. You have important European banking voices here talking about a strong recovery in the second half of 2013. Mario Draghi, the chief at the European Central Bank, saying that he sees signs of that to come. And then Christine Lagarde, the chief at the International Monetary Fund, as well, saying she's much more optimistic about the health going forward.
I remember talking to you about a year ago, and everything looked as if it was rather dark and gloomy. Now, have things improved significantly, or is it still too early to say that?
Things have improved. I wouldn't say significantly. Things have improved, and there is a little bit of recovery in the air. It shows in the numbers. Not as great as we would expect, but it's, global growth expected at 3.5 as opposed to 3.2 last year. Advanced economies lagging behind, emerging markets and low-income countries driving growth. That's the picture we have at the moment. What is more interesting is how 2013 is going to either make or break. There have been a lot of changes, a lot of good intentions, a lot of decisions as well made in the Eurozone, in the United States, in Japan to a certain extent, and that will deliver results or not, depending on whether governments, Congress, parliaments keep the momentum.
And how do you see the situation when you look at India? Now, again, some decisions have been taken.
Yep.
There's a wave of reform over the last 3 or 4 months.
Yep.
Now, of course, the question is whether it's going to continue or not. A lot of things that now need to be done have to go to Parliament. But how does India look to you right now?
Significant improvement compared with last February, if I may say. And we
do
have,
you think there's a significant improvement?
Yeah, and we have adjusted our growth forecast for India from 5.4 to 6%. It's one of the rare countries where we have increased our forecast for growth. Generally, we have revised downwards, but for India, we've revised upward, which is clearly a sign that we expect better outcome as a result of the reforms that have been announced and decided, and that will be put to Parliament. I just hope that Parliament will, continue the process and will accelerate the pace.
Okay, so India has less of a headache for you, which is good. Now, currency, is that fast becoming a major headache for you, both in the possibility that there's going to be competitive devaluations and beggar my neighbor policies, and also some countries are continuing to print notes at such a rate that it's leading to genuine fears of monetary debasement?
I think cooperation is the rule of the game in this new world of ours where contagion can be so fast. And I really hope that at the next G20 meeting we have in February, we can actually discuss these issues, debate them in terms of consequences, not just for one particular country, but for the entire economy and the neighbors of that country. I think it's excessive to talk about currency wars, but we have to anticipate what the consequences will be of a particular set of policies decided by a particular country, be it US, be it Japan, be it India. Each and every country has, its own landscape, but there will be ramifications outside that territory, and the whole set of issues has to be considered.
No matter which index you look, spreads, liquidity, corporate issuance, bond issuance, even sovereign spreads, all volatility, all the indices point out to a substantial improvement of financing conditions. Stock markets, for example, they increased substantially. So all in all, the background is considerably more favorable than what it was last year. What about the recovery? I think we are moving, the perception we have at the ECB is that the level of economic activity is in the process of stabilizing at very low levels. And we foresee a recovery in the second part of the year.
The financial crisis might be over, but the time has now come for greater transparency, structural reform and regulation. That indeed was the prevailing theme here on opening day, the first panel itself, with the likes of Jamie Dimon and Axel Weber talking about the subject. Axel Weber saying that regulation is a must, and in fact QE and the European Central Bank's printing is not the solution to the world's problem. They're saying they're basically using the problem as a medicine and it's going to kill them later on. Jamie Dimon, on the other hand, saying that quantitative easing was the best thing that ever happened to the financial world.
What the central banks need now is good policy and good fiscal policy. And so it's really incumbent upon the governments to do good fiscal policy and good policy. To give you the positive side, just a little optimistic, if you look at the United States today, and still 25% of the global GDP, it's in pretty good shape. Okay, corporate America, middle market America, small business, consumers, housing is turned. The table is really well set. And I think the world needs the United States to start to grow, because the most important thing now is good, sustainable growth and jobs, which will make the central bank job easier. Europe is stabilized, though I would put in the category it's going to have its ups and downs down the road, because it's a very complex situation. The American situation is we know what to do, we just got to find the will.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for Retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.